What is up, guys? Archon Tsunami bringing you guys another video. As you guys recall, the last video was me doing a key on my elemental shaman. I believe it was an 8. Definitely was not a 10 or above. Anyway, I'll be doing a key on my monk here. I'll be healing this one. And it is going to be a 15, which is going to be a bit different compared to the 8 I did on my shaman. I'll be going over all the differences and stuff to look out for. We got quite a bit of trash here. Oh, we do have a vent here, which is nice. So he's going to activate the urns. There's a lot going on screen, as you can tell. Go ahead and heal that tank back up to full there. Somehow all the DK AMS'd it, so they didn't get any bursting stacks. That is something you can do as a DK to prevent getting stacks. I do have revival, so if we happen to double burst here, we get 4 or 5 stacks. I can easily just use revival to purge that. Oh yeah, don't stand in bear traps either. Those are very bad on the ground. Definitely lose a leg to those. The Hot Master, you typically want to kill those ones. Or no, sorry, the Mist Dancers you want to kill first here. The Hot Master drops the traps, which are annoying to deal with, but they can be walked around, whereas the Mist will eventually just start covering the entire room and his shades, I guess you want to call them. Those things, as you can see. And they stab and they do a lot of damage. We got the Dream going for our Mistweaver monk here. We have Renewing Mist on everybody, which means whenever we Vivify, we're pretty much just going to heal everybody all at the same time and do a lot of healing.
I'm out of range.
So we want to try to make sure before we start healing, unless it's an emergency, we want to tag things so that we put our Mystic Touch on them. It increases the damage of the warrior and the DK. I'll probably show you guys when we get a little bit of downtime here, when people are picking anemo powers. I might try to show you what my talents are for this. I was going to do it before, but we started pretty quickly. I didn't have time. I apologize for that. If not, I'll just wait till the end of the video as well, or the end of the run to show you guys. He's apparently using his breath right now. It's a neat little macro. It tells you how much time you have left. So we have Incinerator Arcolath. And what Incinerator Arcolath does is he targets a random range player typically. If you have no range, he'll target melee, but if you have a range player, he'll typically target them with that circle that comes down. He also puts out a dot on people. So as a healer, even though I'm a melee healer, I can still get the circle, so I have to be very careful not to be in melee for this guy. I just want to tag him and get out. But he also puts a dot out that does 50% more fire damage. As a monk, I can actually use Diffuse Magic to reflect this back onto him. So if you happen to have a Fire Mage, which we do not, we have a Frost Mage unfortunately, you would be doing 50% more damage to him. As for anima powers, we're going to be taking a bottle of Sanguine Depths, as it just works really well and I'm not fist weaving. If I was fist weaving, I would be taking probably the haste one. This is the cooldown on Rising Sun Kick being skilled by haste.
Now you will taste true power.
I'm going to go ahead and skip past these mobs here. Tag everything. And then we're going to look for Tixet to get the Engorge cast for longer than a couple seconds that don't get interrupted right away. And then we'll link sweep those ones to cancel the cast and try to catch everybody's interrupts back up. I think the only thing that... Okay, I think the only thing that bursts here are the big ticks. The little ones do not. Yep, that is what it is. 3 stacks isn't that bad. I can heal through 3. I can heal through 3, it's not that big of a deal. This pack here is going to be a little bit harder because there's a brute in there and he hits a bit harder. Really something to keep an eye on the tank here. The other big thing is, since it is Tornado's week, you have to be careful about tagging things and then needing to emergency heal, because if a tornado comes up, it can very easily knock you into the air, stopping your Vivify cast from going through. So what I typically try to do, unless I know there's not a lot of damage going on and I can DPS freely, I try to stay back a bit so I can guarantee my casts. We're going to go ahead and touch that big boy there. I think I am going to use Vivify, or sorry, not Vivify, but Revival here to purge the stacks of bursting, just so that way we don't have to wait them out, and I can eat that much faster. This guy doesn't do a whole lot of damage. he does to your tank, like, thankfully the Paladin's tanky enough to where he can pop a defensive and not eat that much damage from it, so I can actually do DPS on this fight. Juggernaut Rush, I just want to be in front of the DK here. I'm going to put some heals on him ahead of time. Wasn't sure how much damage we were going to eat. I will say the damage on that ability is very weird. There are times where it does a lot of damage, and there's times where it does no damage. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and back up here, put an orb out here. We're gonna pop Yulan for this one, then we're gonna eat the last orb here. I don't think I ate the orb. No, I didn't. We don't want to leave it up too long because if it overlaps with the Juggernaut Rush, it could actually be very bad. Go ahead and put another Renewing Mist down on myself on cooldown since our Thunder Focus teed him up. The next time my Renewing Mist comes up, I will not use it because I'm going to stack 2 of them. Another Severing Smash. This one's going to be a little bit more tricky to heal through. But we do have Bone Dust Brew up. We're going to use that to get through this. I wasn't going to use Renewing Mist, but that kind of happened before the Thunder Focus T cooldown came down. So I needed to get the extra healing out. We'll use that and then a freebie. Nice. Easy boss.
Our target lies deep.
Thankfully the tank was able to keep up with the headbutts. If your tank can't keep up with the headbutts, that fight can be very hard because you're constantly spamming heals into him. These guys just cast curses. I'm going to go ahead and stun them real quick. And then I'm going to cast a Renewing Mist. Throw out an Essence Font to get a little bit extra healing out there. Remember to not ever hold Essence Font for the entire duration in a Mythic Plus key. You only want to do it until you see everybody get the Essence Font buff. Because the Essence Font buff itself is what you're after. It double heals your mastery. Or sorry, it uses your mastery twice. So if you cast Vivify on somebody, they get healed twice by your mastery. And if you use that in conjunction with an ability like Bone Dust Brew, watch. I won't do anything but bat and Essence Font. I pretty much just snapped the Paladin from 50% all the way up to full. Because it makes your mastery heal for so much more. I think Bone Dust Brew by itself is making my mastery heal for an extra 3k, and then you get that twice on top of the Vivify healing, which is 4k. I'm gonna get hit by this. Oh, did I die immediately on hands? Thank God. I got stuck on the wall. Okay, this is kind of bad. Oh, this is kind of really bad. So he pulled the Gargoyle and the other guy at the same time. It was very bad. I got targeted by the Frost Lance. I got stuck on that wall. We're good though. We're back up. 1 death isn't that bad. 100% my fault though. I didn't realize he was going to do a double pull there. Typically you don't see people do that. There's no reason not to do that because they have changed how the cleave works. Oh, why am I getting him behind me? That's a new one. Huh. This general here, he basically puts an AoE circle on people, he drops his little ice swirls, and then he does the frost lance that you have to dodge. It's the frontal cone thing that knocked me back. It did a lot of damage to me. But his powers that he gives faster eating, he gives crit mastery, depending if you want that, or he gives a gavel that stuns targets. That gavel is pretty bad, I wouldn't use it. In my case, I am taking the faster eating, because that's the first mana one available. Sometimes if I already have loose mana, what I'll do is I'll actually take the Mastery one, because like I showed you earlier with the Paladin health bar, Mastery is very good. It can do a lot of snap healing, it also affects your Bone Dust Brew. So, this is going to be bad if this targets me. No, we got the double interrupt off. So the casters, the oppressors do a nasty little cast called, I think it's actually called Curse of Oppression. And it's a silence that's 5 seconds. It can target any of the casters. Ideally, you're hoping that it doesn't target the healer. In our case, though, the mage can dispel me if it happens. So it's not the end of the world. They also do Soul Rend, I think it is, or something like that. Sorry. Rack Soul, it's Rack Soul. It's a dot that goes out that does do quite a bit of damage, but at the same time, it's not insanely bad. Let's go ahead and just purge with revival here. I shouldn't need revival coming up. Like even the next set of mobs, they don't do a whole lot of bursting. It's just these three. We got to be very careful that we don't accidentally spinning crane kick hit the little mob there in the doorway. That does happen from time to time, and it will pull the entire room, and then nothing good happens after that. It's very scary once that happens, especially at 37% mana. I'm going to take this time to go ahead and flush craft so I don't have to heal myself as much. I'm silenced. The mage should be purging this off of me. That's a missed interrupt. Thankfully, no big damage was going out during that. So what I'm going to do here, if I don't have to use the purge on anybody else beforehand, is I was going to purge myself of my bursting stacks so I could eat right away. I'm going to heal through the bursting here. Can't die on 3 stacks, it's impossible. I think he's trying to get the general here because there is a general in that room. No, never mind, he's just going to get the custodian first. You can actually pull the general first. Oh, I'm going to eat that. Yeah, I got on the wrong angle of it. I thought it was a normal tornado. Absolutely hate tornadoes in this place because of that guy right there. It makes it hard to tell if it's his tornado or if it's the Apex tornado. Looks like he's going towards the mage again, yeah. We do not have an enraged dispel, sadly, and I'm targeting the wrong thing. I just noticed I'm targeting the general. Oh, I ate both tornadoes, trying to dodge both of them. Oh, please stop eating those. Everybody's eating tornadoes. And not the good tornadoes.
One of the more ruthless Marsworn draws close.
This is actually really bad unless this guy gets in here really quick. Okay, we're good. So this is Executioner of Varuth. What Varuth does is he does this Wave of Terror ability here, which you have to group for, otherwise it fears you, and then he immediately puts a circle on a player. That player needs to run out of the group. Otherwise, he'll hit everybody with it, and it'll dot everybody. We did pretty good on that first one. And that's pretty much all Varuth does, and like I said, 50% healing debuff. As a Mistweaver monk, you can actually pop your cooldowns in a way that ignores that. Especially, I grabbed loose mana, which is fine. If you have this trinket right here, Shadowed Orb of Torment, which is gotten from the current raid, it drops off Remnant of Ner'zhul. If you pop that going into that fight and then you use Bone Dust Brew behind it, you can actually ignore the 50% healing debuff and just snap heal everybody up to full, which is what I normally do on that, but it's not really needed. It's kind of overkill. He doesn't do a whole lot of damage. It's balanced in a sense that the 50% doesn't really affect you too much as long as you're keeping everybody topped up. Bunch of tornadoes there. I'm just gonna back up a bit, not deal with them. But it is fun to watch and heal for like, 7k through a 50% healing debuff. Drop some more renewing mist here. Thunderbolt because T won't be off cooldown anytime soon. An 8-second recharge. Go ahead and heal everybody up here. If you can believe it or not, the actual dangerous mob here is the Quill Feather. The Quill Feather does a lot of damage. You wouldn't think so because it's a non-elite, but it does do boatloads of damage. It's very scary. I thought it was a joke enemy too when I first came in here, and then I realized that it's doing a lot of the damage. It's like, okay, you gotta die. So the Venthyr is basically giving us a buff, for those who don't know, where we're doing 15% damage, 50% more increased healing. I need to get everybody up here. Give me a second. And that stacks based on how many enemies you kill inside of the pool here. There's one on this side and there's one on the other side as well. So I'm assuming he's going to want to do a big pull here. I do have Revival to Purge if need be. think I'm gonna do this spinning crane kick so I can get a little bit of damage in here on these guys that don't bone dust brew up. So, for as good as it is defensively, it's also a very good offensive tool as well. I'm just gonna heal through it because it doesn't seem to be doing that much damage to the mage or the paladin. I'm assuming they popped a defensive of some kind. Okay, Will is down. The mage has aggro on something. Now the warrior has aggro. Cool, we actually got back around to the other lantern here that's going to extend our buff. It does reset with every kill you get, so that's pretty big. I don't think he's going to kite all the way back down the hallway, that would be pretty dumb. I'm gonna go ahead and pop bone dust brew here. I should have it back up for the boss. We're gonna have one more gargoyle to fight. The weak side of Monk is that they cannot remove curses, so when Explosive Anger goes down, you kind of have to make sure that you're focus healing whoever gets that. The mage can be dispelling it, but I don't think he has it set up on his bars, which is a little sad. It is very helpful to your healer to do that if you're a mage or a shaman. You lose 1 GCD for it, but at the same time, it could potentially save you 5 seconds from it not killing somebody, or dealing a lot of group damage and then wiping you. You're basically trading 1 GCD for potentially saving yourself 20 seconds worth of time on a keep. I will eat here. We got faster eating, so we're good. I'm gonna go ahead and diffuse magic on this. I do have access to a couple good defenses for that. Gotta kill the ad. You always want to make sure to focus the fleeting manifestation when that comes up and be on the lookout for circles coming around. If you're going left side like we are, you want to be facing the way I am. You want to be facing north or northwest. Because the orb on your left will come first, and then the orb coming at you will be second. So as soon as you see the orb come behind you, you can easily just slide left and avoid getting hit by it. Okay, he needs to get that out. So I think what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to pop my trinket. And then we're going to bone dust brew here. Essence font, so we get extra mastery here. Didn't really need it, but just to be safe. People were running low on defensives for Castigate. The DK got targeted twice. Oh shit. That could have been tragic. That actually could have been tragic, by the way. Thankfully, it didn't pull the boss. That boss has a very, very short aggro range, luckily. There really is no reason that we're not pulling this guy with the general. It makes you take increased damage, or increased physical damage. And the Vestige of Doubt's probably the only thing auto-attacking, but I doubt it would be enough to actually be a problem. Dog down the Breaker is probably the easiest of the four to deal with.
Powerful servant of the jailer.
Because what he does is he just, like I said, puts 50% bonus physical damage out, and then he'll do this where he pulls you in and you just break the chains and you walk out before it's cast, otherwise you get stunned and take a bunch of damage. He does hit the tank with something, Seismic Wave. Oh, I guess that's the AoE. Seismic Wave is the AoE that hits everybody, but Crush is what hits the tank. But neither of them actually do a lot of damage. These guys have been nerfed quite a bit since they were introduced. They're pretty much a joke now. At least Sogdon is. The only one that I would say isn't a joke is probably the Ice Guy and the Fire Guy. Those are the only two that are not jokes. Because if an Inferno cast goes off when you all have the magic effect on you, it will one-shot in most cases. And as for the Ice Guy, you've seen what happened earlier where things kind of went south because of the corridor we were in. He puts a 50% slow on everybody, so it makes it hard to move. For this boss, I shouldn't need a lot of mana and I shouldn't need Bone Disprove for it. What I'm going to do instead is I'm going to DPS here. We're going to use Bone Disprove for DPS.
It's too far away.
Spell him right away. Put down the Renewing Mist ahead of time.
How dare you interrupt my research?
Keep an eye on him. Gotta re-put my statue down. I don't think it's down here.
My patience is wearing thin.
I'm gonna collect your orbs. Try not to take for melee if you're a monk healer. Try to get the outside ones that nobody's going for. And then you just spam heal to keep everybody up. Try to get him up before Torment comes out here. Throw down a Renewing Mist when you can. Throw down all your insta-cast when you can. Go, everybody's back up. He's saving his defensives, which are very good. As long as it doesn't one-shot him, we should be able to just do that, not die from it. I don't care about pumping heals, and I can actually DPS on the boss here. I'm gonna go out here and get these. Check, see, make sure nobody's coming out with me. Nope. Okay, cool.
Beware.
Okay, now we just gotta run and hope that people don't die. We already used Essence Font. Gotta get back within range here. We're gonna throw a Bone Brew down. That'll help the Warrior and the DK get back up to full here. Balls ourselves. It's a easy enough fight if everybody just dodges the swirls on the ground. You run into problems when people don't do that. We're gonna save our Renewing Mist here. I'm gonna grab 2 of these, and then I'm gonna diffuse magic here, so I take 100% reduced damage, or roughly, with diminishing returns.
Beware.
Boss down.
So much left to discover.
Quickly, mortals.
So
Escape
some
is
groups
strong.
will actually pull this pack in this hallway here, and then they'll skip past these 3 back here. I don't know if that's what we're doing yet. I need to see. So it's always important to have in a 16 plus, or sorry, like a 10 plus. You always want to have invis pots on you at all times. They're pretty cheap to buy, I believe. Thankfully, my monk is an alchemist, and I can just make them myself. They're standing in traps. That's gonna be quite a bit of healing I'm gonna have to make up for here. And tornado dodging. I'm just gonna use revival here. There's potentially gonna be a need for it coming up in the next room because there are things that do burst in the next room. But if we're pulling these guys, I should have it off cooldown by then. It'll be close, but I should have it. I am gonna use the trinket here on this pull. Gonna Essence Font, get this Warrior up to full here. The reason I'm using the trinket here is because the healing debuff that these guys put, that the Overseer puts on, does add up kind of quickly. Somehow our tank is not in line of sight of me. I'm guessing it has to do with that wall he's hugging. LOS in this game is pretty rough sometimes. So I'm assuming what happened is he was inside one of these cubbies. And I couldn't see him because he was in the cubby. Always be mindful of where you're at as a tank. We're gonna drink up to 100 here, because the gauntlet can be a little rough.
Gods, slay them all.
It has been nerfed into the floor, but it can still be a little bit rough. Depending on... he's got aggro and a bleed. Mainly just want to focus on call. I'm going to go ahead and put my statue down over there. Statue can't pull. So he pulled that. There's actually a chance I may need Mulan here. Maybe. Yeah, I'm gonna Yulan just to be safe. Just to be safe. I didn't need it actually. We only bursted 3 of them, but I was expecting them to all burst. If that would have happened, I definitely would have needed Yu'lon because that would have been 6 stacks of bursting. Make a pretty good time on this key.
That prisoner belongs to the master.
8.2k heals per second.
Take it.
That's without the trinket as well, and that's without Boneless Brew being up. Knocked airborne here, gonna drop the statue up there. Gonna purge bursting with diffuse magic. I got 19 on revival, so I can't use revival. Gonna throw out an essence bomb here. We are taking a little bit of damage. I do need to catch back up a bit. I'm burning through quite a bit of mana too. DK's not doing me many favors.
You are nothing but Draven's dogs.
Thankfully the buff altar's still open. We opened it a little early. Or rather the tank didn't move them over like the dude wanted them to, but we still get 7 stacks off of it, not bad. Very good. That means I should have to do a little bit less healing as well because we have a 35% healing buff. We're not going to get any more. The max you can get is 9. Like I said, we opened the altar a little bit early. I think whoever it was expecting us to actually tank call on top of it with the first pack, and we didn't do that right away. We waited, killed him, and then moved. I do have revival. Shouldn't need it though. The only ones that actually burst, if you're wondering, are the cadets. They're the only ones that do any type of affix. The casters don't do that anymore. Who would have guessed having, 7 mobs be stacked on top of each other? Constantly bursting was a bad idea.
Stubborn rebels! You will meet your end!
Tag these guys. I can't interrupt that. You can actually stun the skirmishers when they're casting anime weapon to make them skip casting it. It's just one less mob that doesn't add for percent that you don't have to deal with. That does damage to your group. I'm gonna touch your Death of Sentinel. Since I can't use it on the boss, I might as well use it on those guys. Or on the big guy there. I'm gonna eat here. I'm not gonna heal myself because I'm gonna eat anyway. Kind of funny, mobs don't like it when you heal through food. Try to get them before they drop any traps. No, we got 1 trap to deal with. Gotta watch out for. Oh, he hit the trap. For 57k. Oh, he got knocked into it by the tornado. Sorry guys, my voice is getting a little hoarse here. So the tank should probably kite them away from that. In all honesty, that's more on the tank than it is on the DPS. He could have, I guess, sidestepped the NATO, but in all honesty, the tank needed to pull him away from the tornado, so that could never happen. I choose a defense by accident. So if you get tagged with the line above your head called Wicked Rush, you want to run away from the group. If you're the second player to get targeted, you see him dash, you can actually dodge the second one. Unfortunately, the warrior decided to eat the dot in my place. I'm going to use Transcendence there to dodge it. It gave them H2 stacks, I think? Unless he got targeted twice, I'm not sure, but either way, it won't matter in a second. The mage is dead if he doesn't get in, though. This is going to blink it. Okay, he did blink it. I still don't advise doing that because it makes me have to heal that much more. As you can tell, we just dodged it again, and he doesn't drop his bleed stacks. So if he happens to get double targeted and get 4 bleed stacks, that's going to be a lot of damage I'm going to have to try to purge off this mage. Thought these aren't exactly the most tanky class in the game. Okay, just gonna get this DK up a little bit here.
Beware.
I guess you can also ice block as well. I'm just gonna walk it. See, no bleed. Only 1 bleed went. Actually, no bleed went out, so we dodged both of them somehow. I don't know who got the first one. The DK got it. I don't know what he did to dodge it. Must be purged it somehow. Huh. Pretty crazy. Gonna dodge it again. The mage not so lucky. Boss fight ends at 50%. We're 1% away. That's a pretty clean Sanguine Depths right there. Sanguine Depths 15. Really clean. Plus 12 to my IO score for it. We upgraded it plus 2 to a 17. Actually pretty clean.
Go, mortals. I will hold her off.
This was the good group to have for sure. Got Cull's Doomblade for a one-handed weapon. Don't think I'll be taking it though. Cost 1,000 valid to upgrade. The only way I would probably do an offhand would be if I happen to get main hand inside my vault on Tuesday. But yeah, it's a pretty good run. Everybody's below, you know, a couple million here. Let's hold on. Let's look at the 16 hauls that I did. There's a difference between a 16 hauls and obviously a 15 other. I don't need it. Callie can't trade it because it's a higher item level than what he's currently wearing. Okay, I was gonna look at the damage comparisons. So this is the 16 that we did, or that I did beforehand. Our tank took basically 4 million less damage. It is a different tank, and Halls of Atonement is definitely a different monster with the dogs doing a lot of damage. As you can tell, our tank took 1.4 million just in dog bites, essentially, or dog melees. The damage was pretty even in terms of damage taken. I think we probably would have taken roughly the same amount if this would have been a 16. So, all in all, it's pretty even. The only difference was the tank damage. If your tank knows what he's doing, let's look at my damage done compared to. I want to see that. Let's see. So, I actually did more damage in this dungeon than I did in the other dungeon by a little bit. But that little bit of damage can actually add up quite fast. I didn't have to heal as much. I did an extra 500k. If your tank knows what he's doing and your DPS aren't getting hit by things, it lets you do a lot of extra damage to help you guys get through the key that much faster. Can't stress that enough. Dodging mechanics is #1 for these higher end keys. Getting that extra frostbolt or fireball or lightning bolt cast off is not as important as getting out of whatever is going to kill you. Can't stress that enough. There's a lot of people out there that are like, oh, I can get this last cast off, and then it get hit for like 40k, and then the healer has to turn their attention to them. The tank gets hit with a big hit or something, and then it's like off to the races. One of you is going to die guaranteed because the healer can't keep both of you up. But yeah, I can't stress that enough, guys. Dodge that stuff that's on the ground. I mean, I play all 3 roles. I play heal, I play tank, and I play DPS. I've done 15s on each role. To show you guys, I am 243 item level. To show you guys the talents I'm running. I am not fist weaving like I said earlier. I think I mentioned that earlier. I'm not fist weaving. I am running Mist Wrap, running Cheat Torpedo, Life Cycles. I like Ring of Peace, it helps out a lot. Diffuse Magic, Summon Jade Serpent. Focus Underlining, of course. If you're running fist weaving, you'd run Chi-Ji as well as Rising Mist. I don't know if you'd run Chi Wave. I think they do say to run Chi Wave, but I just don't like Chi Wave or Chi Burst. Chi Wave especially, because if you're not careful with it, it will pull things through the wall or pull things in a doorway. But anyway, guys, that is a 15 Sanguine Depths on time plus 2. hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you learned something. If you guys have any questions about Mistweaving, I'll answer them the best to my ability. Like I said, I'm not the best Mistweaver in the world, but I can help you guys out who may be struggling picking up the spec. It's pretty easy once you understand what you're looking to do with it. With that, I'm going to go ahead and head out of here. Be sure to check out the Twitch link down in the description below. I am live most days. Typically, I'm live most days. There's been an exception where our dog actually got hurt. Her back leg is kind of, I wouldn't say it's hanging, but she's limping on it really hard. Like, she doesn't want to walk on it, so we think that she's either torn something or some type of muscle damage has happened. We're going to get her in, get her looked at, but I've been spending time with her, making sure she's not overexerting herself, running around or anything like that. But once that's all taken care of, hopefully I can go back to being able to stream again for you guys throughout the week. But I am typically live though most days. If you see me on, be sure to hit that follow button, come hang out with me, come chill. I answer questions about World of Warcraft as best I can. I pretty much at this point am playing almost every class in the game. But thanks for watching. See you guys later. Peace.